I watched most of the Idubbbz content cop that came out today, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't feel like I need to watch all of it. I feel like I have the gist of what it is. Idubbbz is pissed off at Ethan Klein. It's not that Ethan is making bad content. It's not that Ethan is like scamming fans. It's not that Ethan is doing any underhanded bullshit or anything like that. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he has, right? But what Idubbbz is specifically targeting him for is for being a meanie, being a big old meanie head. And it's a great example of what happens when you become an old goofy, but you still want to try and act like you're like, you're hip, you're with it and stuff like that. And this is why I try to avoid being part of like an ecosystem, because that's kind of what Idubbbz and Ethan and Hassan, they're kind of part of this weird ecosystem and stuff like that. And when you're 30 plus and you're on YouTube talking about drama between you and another 30. Now, the Kleins are in their 40s at this point. Another, we'll just say 30 plus, but in this case, 40 plus year old person. That is such a fucking awful look, bro. That looks so bad. I felt embarrassed listening to that because I'm sitting here like, damn, I'm 30 years old listening to Idubbbz talk about Ethan Klein as though it's 2015 and the timeline turned out a little bit differently and they were never friends in the first place. Damn, am I 20 years old again? What the fuck? Why am I listening to this? Why do I care about this? And I realized I really don't care. I would be embarrassed if I was Idubbbz, but then again, I don't think he does well with the whole embarrassment thing. In all the other content cops, again, it was all very surgical. It was all very, hey, here's the problem with you and your content. You're doing this kind of thing. Fucking stop that, dude. You're being a piece of shit. That's kind of what it was. This was very clearly like a scorned friend who is trying to convince everybody else that he's a piece of shit. That guy that you are no longer friends with is a piece of shit. It felt like I was hanging out with the group of floozies that I used to hang out with back when I was 21. A bunch of punk rock fucking weirdos who like, there's always drama brewing between everybody, And there's always somebody who's sitting here like, dude, fucking Joey's an asshole, dude. Dude, did you remember when he said this? I can't believe he said that, dude. You know what he said about you, dude? Dude, I'm telling you, bro, he's bad news. He's an asshole. Like, that's what this felt like. And it's crazy because it's a situation where Idubbbz doesn't realize how much of a piece of shit he seems like he is. Like, I know Ethan Klein is genuinely a piece of shit, and some of the stuff Idubbbz said is poignant, Ethan seems to be one of those guys who is very quick to try and shame you and like talk to and about you like you're the devil because you don't 100% agree with like something that he feels. And I do believe that there were some manipulative tactics. I do feel that there was some of that in that little rant that was going on with Ethan and Hila. But like there's also plenty of situations where Idubbbz is like being a piece of shit too. Like he's known these people for 10 years. He's collabed with them multiple times. He's like always been cool with them. And he's going to call them light friends is what he decided to call them. Nah, no, they're not light friends. Fucking you guys are boys. I don't care that like you don't always talk to each other. I don't always talk to all my friends. I got dudes that I'm like mad cool with that I've known for years that their messages are sitting in my inbox because I just don't have the time or the energy to be like conversing with them right now. Sorry, and not that any of you guys are watching my shit right now, but sorry about that. Um like you don't get to sit there and be like, well, it's not like we talked every day. It's not like we hung out every day. You guys did enough as to where turning around and being like, you're a light friend. You're not that good of a friend. I'm calling you a light friend. Like that. Something about that. No, no, no. If somebody did that to me, I don't know how I would react to that. Right? I mean, the only way you can really react to that is to be like, oh, that's how it is? All right, don't ever hit me up again then. Whatever. If I'm just a light friend, then I might as well not be a friend after a decade of us being cool and hanging out every now and again and doing content shit together. Like, no, fuck that. It's over. Don't ever talk to me again. That's probably how I'd react. But it would be like one of those things that's like, whoa, what the fuck? Where is that coming from, you know? And then there's other things where it's like, yeah, when Idubbbz decided he was going to go through his extremely poorly handled public freakout slash declaration of change, apparently Ethan and Hila stuck up for him. They publicly were like, no, I think Idubbbz is doing a great thing. I think blah 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 blah. You know, leave him alone. Apparently that's something that they did. And Ethan and Hila, while they're scumbags too, they felt like they were being attacked. And Idubbbz and Anissa were like, nah, we're gonna stay silent on this. And they felt a little bit betrayed by that. And they publicly said, wow, we stuck up for you guys. Why didn't you help us out? And Idubbbz turned around and did what every fucking manipulative, like, BPD female does whenever you try and have a conversation with her and you're like, yo, I did this for you. What the, like, why can't you do something nice for me? They go, well, if I had known you were just going to throw it in my face, I would have said no. You were more than happy to accept the help when the help was being offered. And now that somebody's like, yo, I've treated you very well, why are you not treating me well? You're going to be like, oh, well, I mean, maybe you shouldn't have treated me well if you were just going to throw it in my face. Is that the only reason why you did it? It's because you were going to throw it in my face? You were going to use it as emotional blackmail for later? Is that why? Ian's really kind of... The guy's kind of like delusionally self-obsessed and narcissistic. You know, that this is a man who he can't help himself, probably. And the medication and the weird freak wife and the therapy that he apparently goes to, I don't think that's helping him either. I think that's probably just solidifying his egoism is probably what it's doing. All they are doing is validating his egoism. And the fact of the matter is, you have two people, Ethan and Hila, right, who you can say what you want about the Israel-Palestine conflict, but the fact of the matter is they believe that they might be targets, both ethnically as well as personally, as public figures. They believe that they could be targeted, and because of that, they're probably very stressed about that. They probably feel like they don't have that many friends, because after all, they decided to start shitting on the right wing, so the right wing doesn't want to fuck with them. And now even the left wing is like, oh, they're Israel supporters. They don't have many friends, and the people that were their friends are now publicly shitting all over them and doing underhanded things. You would think that Idubbbz would have the emotional maturity to be like, okay, I don't like what they said about me, but they are in a really bad spot right now. And maybe they just needed somebody to step up and be like, hey guys, why don't we just leave them alone? You know, you can't really blame them for being pro-Israel in the conflict, because they are literally Jews, and one of them is an Israeli Jew specifically. Like, regardless of how you feel about the situation, like, you can't just expect these people to be like, yeah, we side with the people that in our minds are trying to kill us. You can't be mad at them for that. That's all he had to do, was be like, hey, maybe people should lay off Ethan and Hila. Maybe they're just a little bit nervous, and us, like, attacking them is only going to make it worse for everybody, because it's going to make us look bad, and it's also going to make them think, oh wow, these people really do want me dead. He could have done that, and it would have been so much better. And he could have taken that into account when they started talking shit about him, because they probably felt betrayed by his silence, because they didn't stay silent when he was getting shitted on. And instead, he decided that he remained silent on purpose, and that there was like some kind of good reason for that or something like that, you know? And it's like, dude, what a shitty person, man. Like, you can say what you want about, like, oh, he's iCucks now. He's iCucks. He's going on an apology tour. What a loser. I don't care about that at all. Idubbbz is truly just like a shitty person. he thinks that he got better, but he probably got worse, or at the very least, he's not hiding his true self anymore, is what it is. He's just the kind of person who, when he walks into a room, you just think, "Oh boy, what's about to happen?" That seems to be the real Idubbbz, and that's such a sad thing, dude. That's such an unfortunate thing, considering where the kind of guy that he used to be on YouTube, right? And it's not just because he stopped saying the N word. Ooh, you ever notice I don't say the N word? I'm not dying on the hill of, no, you have to say the N word. And literally nobody is dying on that hill either. What it really comes down to is that he's lost his personality. What has replaced it is something that is totally unrecognizable. And it seems like it is a poorly idealized version of what ethics should look like according to a leftist, you know? And he's a husk. He's a husk. The Anissa was trying to be a scumbag matchmaker regarding Leafy is here. When Leafy offered to box Idubbbz, right? She was trying to pull scumbag matchmaker tactics, and I know what those look like, so I was able to call them out. And because of that, Idubbbz and Anissa both blocked me. They ran away from the accountability on that one. Gee, what a surprise, right? I don't watch their shit, is the point that I'm trying to make. I don't interact with them. I couldn't even interact with them if I wanted to, right? But this video is the most life that I've seen out of Idubbbz in years. For a minute, I'll be honest with you, for a minute when I started watching that video, I thought, wow, Idubbbz might be back. He was a fucking loser. And he is a loser. And he has always been a loser, and he's always going to be a loser. And him making some good videos years back doesn't make him not a loser. If this is the real Idubbbz, then he was always a fucking loser freak.